Welcome back, my demons. It has been quite a while since I last posted. Almost 6 months, actually. So let's get back into it. Now, this is my third rant. I intend these videos to have a more serious tone. You can watch them like a podcast or just have it running in the background. On to the topic of today's video, the maxim of Non Gris. The maxim of Non Gris is a portion of my philosophy, which I have been developing over time. It acts as a problem solver, persuasive device, and general action simplifier. The main premise, while deceptively simple, has deeper implications that I will unfold today. The maxim of Non Gris says the following. When presented with a situation in which you must respond and which you cannot find a clearly correct response, you must use an extremified, yet still parallel, fictional situation in order to come to the correct solution. For those of you who don't understand what I mean when I say that, let me unfold this definition. Non Gris tells you how to act by removing the gray zones in reasoning. It takes what would originally have been an infinite spectrum of responses and narrows it down to, oftentimes, two. Occasionally, there may remain more responses, but there should always be one that stands out from the rest in desirability. The way it does this is by creating an extraordinary situation, where the situation at hand is the same, but the implications are far more extreme. This usually results in you automatically understanding what response is best for you. Think about it like this. If you have many points on a number line, and you don't know what their values are, then, in order to distinguish the point with the highest value, you would have to visually see which point is most to the right. The problem is that oftentimes, in random setups, most of the points will be crowded together so close that it is impossible to distinguish which is which. So, what would you do in that scenario? You would zoom in on the number line. Non Gris does the same thing. It zooms in on the situation so it is easier to tell one action from another, and so it is easier to make a choice. Let me provide for you an example of Non Gris in action. Though, content warning, some people might find this situation uncomfortable or familiar. You have a friend. Let us name this friend Ron. Now, Ron is a childhood friend. You two know everything there is to know about each other. And Ron is a bit messy, a bit disorganized. You two were assigned a project to work on together. Maybe for school, maybe for work, or maybe it's a community project. Now, you've completed the project together, and today you are to present. Ron calls you, frantic. He's lost his script for the presentation. Now, you have an extra copy that you could provide pretty easily, but the issue you face isn't about having or not having his script. See, Ron, due to his messy, disorganized nature, misplaces and loses important things very often. Not just his own possessions. There are many times when he's borrowed something from you or others and they've just disappeared. Now, you can cover for Ron again, but you are getting kind of tired of having to so often. As you two are getting older, Ron really should be able to keep track of the stuff in his possession. And so you face a choice. Cover for Ron again, and the situation will repeat endlessly, or force Ron, your childhood best friend, to face the consequences of his disorganization in the hopes that he will learn to be more organized, or some in between. For you, this is a difficult choice, and so Non Gris steps in to save the day. Now, naturally, what defines an extremified scenario differs from person to person, so the example I provide is just what works for me. If it doesn't work for you or leaves you confused, don't be put off. It most likely just wasn't the appropriate extremification. Now, for the scenario. Losing objects, especially one's owned partially or fully by others, is a betrayal of trust. So, let's up the game. You and Ron are working on the same project, but this time, Ron didn't just lose his script. He lost the only copy of the entire project, and not just your work, the work of several people, all of them having contributed to it, all relying on the two of you to deliver it. When you arrive to present said work, there is nothing. Weeks of work are gone because Ron misplaced what everyone trusted him with. And now everyone is looking at the two of you, waiting. Do you step in, take responsibility, scramble to repair the damage, and protect Ron? Or do you make it clear what actually happened and let Ron face the consequences of losing something people trusted him to protect? And remember, this isn't the first time. To keep the sanctity of the scenario, we must assume Ron regularly loses things others rely on. For me, the answer becomes clear. So, when Ron calls and asks if I've got a copy of his script, as per the original scenario, I would tell him no, I do not, and wish him good luck in recreating or finding it before we present. Now, Non Gris isn't perfect. If a situation is already overwhelming emotionally, morally, or financially, blowing it up further won't help much. And for some people, reducing choices to something so black and white just doesn't feel right. But for everyday difficult decisions, when you're stuck in the gray, it can be surprisingly effective. So, try it out and let me know how it works for you in the comments. I'm always curious to hear your experiences. Sayonara, my demons, and see you in the next video.